Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you've been doing well. It is April 17th, 2025. If you hadn't heard from me in a long time, my question is, where have you been? Just kidding. Here I am. We are trading. I have changed up a lot, and right now I'm currently working on building a tiny account and day trading SPY options. So but try and start recapping them every day and building up a little micro account basically. To be successful with a small amount, you can eventually scale it, but no reason to be using more than the minimal, because more money in the market doesn't make you better. It will just make you lose more, and then it brings in emotions and you're not helping yourself. So very small account, and today I'm actually very just about break even, a little bit red. Choppy day on SPY, typically towards the end of the week. Well, Fridays more specifically, but today's the last day in the trading week. Good Friday tomorrow. But usually on Friday towards the end of the day, it tries to trap retail on both calls and puts, and just ends up chopping and doesn't usually make the move on Friday, just lacks continuation. So if there's a day when I try and get in trades early, today's that day. However, with my very small account I'm trading with, I've been kind of foregoing the first hour or so, more or less, just because the moves later in the day, you can get a higher percentage because there's less time in the contracts. I'm trading 0 DTE, and yeah, sometimes I'll be trading the last 10 or even 5 minutes. So those things can move crazy. But this morning, since it is the last day in the week for trading, I did catch a couple trades this morning. Review them for you. So the system I've basically been following is SPY day trading. I'll put a link for his Discord or whatever in the description. I'm trying to master it, trying to basically do this full time as a trader, which I never was trying to do prior. I won't get into all that right now, but basically that is what I'm working at now, to trade professionally for a living and not gamble and not just throw money here and there and trying to hope. So today, I'm not going to give any macro. I'm just going to give kind of the more micro moves today that I was seeing. Yeah, so for anyways, I'll just start going here. So I'm trading on the 1 minute and on SPY. This is, I think, let's see, Thinkorswim. So I use Thinkorswim, I use Webull, I use E-Trade. I still use a lot of different brokerages, but yeah. So market got going here, and I'm just starting to draw channels, finding the patterns, finding the algorithms, as Eric puts it, where liquidity is being built, basically. So these are all, I chart these all in real time. So basically, once I start charting them, I'll just copy and paste them. Anyways, as we came down, it started chopping pretty bad, and just basically creating liquidity here. Look on my Webull, I'll kind of leave this chart blank just so it's not as cluttered. I can turn it off in the other one, but I like to just have multiple ones. So in the morning, we started basically building liquidity here. Did end up completing this little cup. So I'm looking for cups and handles, head and shoulders, for the most part. So did complete this little cup here, but it was in a pretty tight range and quite choppy. And the IV is still very high from really ever since Liberation Day, April 2nd, and all the tariff surprise. So it's been highly volatile environment to trade in, so you've got to have your wits about you. But yeah, so IV is still pretty high. I think we're like 50% on the dailies in the morning, around 50% near the money. So I just don't mess with it. Try not to mess with the chop. Try and know when liquidity is being built and trying to stay out of it. So didn't trade through this. I kind of consider that a cup close, basically. I'll get back out of Weeble there. But yeah, so I was chopping around. Let me even see what I don't even remember. I took my first one. So I'm looking at data also, just to know when we could get a possible big spike. So this morning we had data at, and if you're on Discord, you'll notice I'm always morning. I'm figuring out the data. Usually it's at 10, 10:30. This morning I think it's at, not sure, 10:30. But it was just, I think, Atlanta Fed GDP or something, so not necessarily a data mover. So basically chopping around here, completed a cup, so I'm kind of looking for a long basically at this point, but it is still very choppy, so yeah. 948. So this same channel I actually adjusted it a tiny bit here, and I think it's more accurate for what was going on. This purple one right here. So when it broke here, that could have been a long entry. I was kind of trying to wait a bit, just yeah, to let this become a shoulder, either for a head up here or head down here. So I didn't take it there. Where did I go? And it rallied all the way up here, and then at that point I fully completed the cup, and I drew this kind of ugly sideways channel, which just not nice for trading if it's just chopping around in that room. So as it started to show resistance here and back here, and then see the support actually right here. So at this point I was like, okay, it's fully completed a cup, but the only issue then was have this resistance up here. So theoretically it could come all the way back down to the bottom of this and make a handle for this cup, and I would have been happy with that. But wait necessarily. Oh, I did this one here around there, because I entered calls, even though knowing my risk reward is pretty bad here. Again, since it is the last day of the week, I'm trying to get trades done with somewhat soon. And so yeah, anyways, calls, I actually got them on this candle. Somewhere in here. I could have got them on here, but it went so quick, and then it was so close to basically my first take profits, which would be the top of this kind of tapering channel. So I got them somewhere around here. Yeah, actually, it was those 10:04:04, basically just right at 10. Pretty soon on it, but that candle wicked down. I got so I'm trying to get three calls right now, at least 3 calls. They don't have 3 exits, and right now 3 calls or puts either direction. Right now so with my very small account, I'm just basically trading full portfolio for 1 trade a day. That helps in a lot of different ways. I won't go into all of it in this video, but 1 trade a day. Sometimes I'll have a little extra after that one to do a second trade. But yeah, so full port, which at this point is 3 contracts. I think it was like a 35 delta maybe. When IV's lower, it's going to be, it'll be even closer to the money, but I guess the delta would be the same. Anyways, yeah, so got 3 in here. It actually went a lot more red after I got it. Sold my first one, let's see. I got filled at 87 cents. Sold my first one at $1.02 at 10:01. So that was basically just because it was the top. That was my first take profit, top of this channel. And this move from here to here, I didn't sell it perfectly there. I sold it somewhere around here. But this move, even just right here, it was 15 to maybe 18% at the high there. So if I'm getting, anywhere close to that on a whole account every day, that's amazing. I'm not shooting for anything specifically, but basically with dailies, you just have to be in and out, and be happy to walk away with definitely 20%. So if I'm seeing 20% on the contracts, I'm usually taking first profits there, especially if it's at a resistance. So I took one there, and then what I'm holding for is, bigger move, of course, seeing this is a cup and this is the handle. I'm holding for maybe 5-day up here, which that would be at least 100%, maybe 150%. And then it started rejecting here. I don't think I quite had this red. Maybe I did. Yeah, no, I did, because I knew that was my exit. So I had the red line there. Did this, and I'm like, okay, this isn't looking too good. Looks like it's actually starting to build liquidity up here. And so my next exit was 10:05. Exit on this candle, and that was basically just because I recognized it looked like it was liquidity being built up here, and we're not getting a rip out of this channel, which hoping that's what that was going to do, but it didn't, and I recognize that, so I cut one there, and that was for 85 cents, so a 2-cent loss on that one. And then I cut out of my last one at 10:07, so basically right on this candle when it was starting to break this low. So that trade was actually slightly green. I think I was up just a few bucks, very, very small. And then, yeah, had a tiny bit of buying power, basically for one contract at about 25 to 30 delta, which I haven't been trading. I've been just doing one a day, but figure if I have enough for one more, I could. And after kind of saw this red channel, started building liquidity up here. So basically, it's lacking the breakout. So it came down. So then to me, it's doing what I thought I was going to do earlier, which was retest here and then eventually go up. You've got a nice shoulder here, came down, made a head. But then of course you also have this channel, and this is a big shoulder, and this could be a head, right? And it's easier to see when there's not drawings on it. Why I do a second chart, and that's where this box comes in. This was liquidity right here. So built liquidity, came up, made a head, and then started grabbing that liquidity, come down for that head and shoulders, and then he makes this little mini head and shoulders in here, which is not uncommon at all. Keep coming down. I didn't take any of that, but you can kind of see it here. So where it bounced was on that red channel, and then came up, made that little mini head and shoulders. So at this point, it's either I'd be getting calls here or calls when it breaks this green, but then again, this would be your first exit. So since that's such a tight range, you could wait for it to break both of these, and then you'll probably be seeing a lot of volume, and then wait for it to maybe retest. And coming down, you could wait for it to break this channel, especially since it is already grabbing this shoulder right here. But then again, your first take profits are low a day, which is fine. You can take profits there, and then if it keeps going, you've got more. What I like about Thinkorswim is I can duplicate these. Really nice. See why like Webull doesn't have. Basically, that's what you're looking at. I had that in there. Delete them as I go, but this little buying channel coming up, and that's right where you get your puts if you wanted to front run it. Otherwise, waiting for this red, it'd be this red candle right here, breaking that support. But then your first take profits are here, and then my yellow channel here I'm not super comfortable with. That was from back here at the beginning of the day. So yeah, I didn't take that one. However, once it came here, then we completed this inverse cup, right? So once inverse cup is completed, I'm looking for an inverse handle, and that's where this white line comes in. This came up. I only had enough for one contract, pretty far out of the money. So I got in right there. Let's see. I actually got in on this candle. I didn't want to. I wanted to have a bigger pullback, get a better entry, but sometimes it just makes a tiny handle. Sometimes it doesn't make any handle at all. It just goes down and you miss it, which is fine. You just got to be okay to miss it. But I got in on this candle. So, that was why actually, was this red. I put this red line in here. Because it's going to probably repeat. It might not, but it very well could. Which in this case, that maybe was not the best. But no, because sometimes it'll hit here and it'll bounce, and then we'll make another little shoulder here and come up, make a head, and then you are using this channel as the last confirmation. And that's why I don't like such flat channels, is because you're waiting so long before that final confirmation. So then you're trying to front run it and get it when it's breaking an earlier or steeper channel. And this applies for downside or upside, of course. So anyways, yeah, that's where I got it here. And then so yesterday was a little bit red. Coming in today with lack of confidence. End of the trading week. There's a lot of factors at play here, which don't don't help with my confidence, and confidence is basically everything in trading. So came through here. I was kind of expecting, you know, a move down, of course. Even though it was too bad, I had to basically get my puts at low of day. It came up here. Looked like it was starting to chop down here, and then even is kind of even starting to do one of those again. I'm like, oh no. So I didn't have a good exit on that one, and I didn't have a good exit plan and a good basically stop loss idea for that one. Because looking at it now, of course, in hindsight, it's much easier, but low of day would have definitely been a resistance, and it basically resisted that perfectly. So just kind of jumped out of it on this green candle. Lacked the conviction and the confidence to hold it, which sometimes this is the right play to jump out, because it's like, yes, it's the beginning of a big rip, but just having clear stops before you even enter, of course, is the way. And should have mentally said probably low of day, but even then, I maybe still would have stopped out of it, because technically this is closed just above low of day. Anyways, sometimes you miss them, but it was the right idea, and that trade would have definitely worked pretty well. With my small count, you know, it's a small amount, basically green, small amount red, so it helps you manage your emotions on it, whether you're holding for profits or cutting losses. And yeah, so literally the next candle flushed down, and I would have taken profits right here anyways. I wouldn't have caught this very bottom. If I had more contracts than one, I would have, and that's the point of me opening up 2 or 3, so I can leave a couple. But for this one, since I only had one, I would have been happy to just take profits when it tested the bottom of this green, which was the resistance up here. And then yeah, kind of quit charting after that. Looks like we made a bigger cup, and now it's set up for potentially a handle. But we are on the longer time frame. We are kind of in the middle of a big wedge, also. So very well could just chop and not give anything to the calls or puts today. But we'll see. 5-day moving average right up here. Might want to climb up there before the day. So. Anyways, that's a kind of a little dive into my brain and what I was looking at for trading today. Probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, which going to happen initially, but yeah, that's what I got. Here's the trades, and all account, there it is. So the buys, the sells, and kind of my plan. I want to just keep doing this with this account and see what I can do. If I blow it up, then, you know, start over again. But starting small and just learning to trade the strategy and develop habitual good risk management and good self-discipline. And then as the account size grows, the emotions will grow, but I'll be prepared because it was a more organic growth. Really, with options and leverage and margin and futures and everything, you really don't need hardly any money to make money in the market. It's really nice, but no one tells you that in the beginning. Everyone thinks you have to have so much money. Oh, you trade in the stock market, you must be super wealthy. So that's all I got, guys. So credit to Spy Day Trading. Like I said, I'll put a link for his stuff in the description. I don't recommend it unless you actually plan on trading for a living. Yeah, and taking it serious, and I think it could be good, but 95% of people fail, and there's a good reason for that. So it's a battle with yourself, and yeah, it's the most challenging thing I've ever done for sure. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you on Discord. Okay, sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. Still got it. All right, peace out.